this video, we're going to be talking about the power of redox when it comes to motherhood, from before getting pregnant all the way through to with your kiddos, what you can do. And I'm really blessed today to be joined by Donnellyn Dominguez. Donnellyn has been a midwife for 19 years. She owned a birth center for 10 of those years. She's delivered over 1,000 babies. And she ultimately lost her health, came across redox, and well, the rest is history. And that's what we're going to talk about how these two things merged and the beauty that's come out of it. So Donnellyn, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you, Danielle. I'm so thrilled to be here.
So anyone listening to this, I just want to say, if you have used redox and you are a mom, you've used it with your kids, please put in the comments the ways you've used it, what you've seen it do. I think it's always fabulous to have a conversation with you guys. And to kick off, Donnellyn, tell us a little bit more about your background. Like, why did you become a midwife? What got you interested in this?
I have always loved babies. I mean, kind of the stupid kind of love. I go take people's babies away from them. Even if I don't know them, my husband says I'm going to get thrown in jail. So that has just been my whole life. And I've also had a real passion for helping young women. I had a very rough go of it when I was in my early adulthood. And I thought, if there's some way I can help them with the experience I've gone through, I want to do that. But I didn't know what I wanted to be. I thought I'd be another Joyce Myers, and I prepared all the time, and that door never opened. So my husband was reading articles one day back when we had newspapers, and he said, "This article is all about you." And what do you mean? And it was a doula training. And I did love to go to the hospital with moms and help them have their babies, but there was no terminology around that back then. We're talking 26, 27 years ago. So I said, good. So I went for the training. I became a doula. I began to help people. There weren't very many out-of-hospital births, so I would work with these little moms. They'd go to the hospital, get an epidural. I'd hold a dead leg while they delivered a baby, and I'd watch. That was about all that ended up happening, because the nurses would talk them into the epidural. You know, they didn't want to do natural after they started having contractions. So then I had one doula client who we went to the hospital when we were supposed to. They sent us home, said she was not in labor, barely. I thought they were wrong, but I was just a doula, so what did I know? Right. And we got home and had the baby on the bathroom floor in 30 minutes. And wow. That's what made me decide what I was doing was close, but delivering the baby was the thing that I wanted to do. But of course, I knew I was mortified. I knew I wanted more training, because that's a huge responsibility. So that's when I became a midwife and went from there.
Oh, beautiful. You know, we're always positioned in life, I think, to turn around and help the person we were, right? What we've come through. So I didn't know that story. And yeah, you're well positioned too, and your personality, your heart, those 1,000 babies and moms, we're lucky to have you. So talk to us about the intersection of redox. Like, how were you introduced to this technology of redox signaling?
In 2015, I was told I had a very serious health challenge. They did surgery right away, and I thought we were good. But a year later, I knew that things were not good anymore. Went back to the doctor and got an even worse prognosis, and started medical treatment per their recommendation. And the third treatment put me in ICU. It almost killed me. And being a midwife, I wasn't a fan of medication anyway. So when I survived that, he said, "We won't give you the fourth treatment because that would kill you, but we will give you one bag of these IV fluids every month for the rest of your life, because things are quiet right now. But if you're not taking any of this medicine, it'll come right back. And because it's in the highway, the organs, it will kill you." And I said, well, I don't know how crazy you think I am, but you just nearly killed me, and we're not doing any more drugs. I'll find something natural, or I'll go away. I'll be gone. I'll go to heaven. I'm not gonna do this to my body anymore. And I really was torn up. It was very harsh. And I no longer have a pituitary gland because of it. So I have to be on medication, which is against my nature.
Yeah.
So I began to look, and I looked for 16 months, did every alternative out there. And, everybody thinks they've got the best, the latest and the greatest.
True.
And so, spend your money on this and spend your money on that. Well, $20,000, and 16 months later, I was not one bit better. I was skeptical and cynical, and I was uncomfortable because of all the situations that had occurred. I didn't have any energy. I had to go to bed at 6 p.m. every night because that's when the steroids wore off that replaced the cortisol that I no longer make. And so I was really pretty miserable. It was, I can honestly say, the darkest 16 months of my life. And all the time you're wondering, will I be here for Christmas? Will I see my next birthday? Will I get to see my twins graduate from college? I mean, what's life got for me? So I was very skeptical, and my nutritionist gave me this product. When I tasted it, it tasted like a swimming pool, and my attitude was so bad at that time. I was like, I cannot believe you scammed me. And she was in the process of moving, so she didn't do good follow-up. And I was certainly not going to reach out. I was mad all the time anyway. Yeah. So Jim Glenn followed up for 7 months. I mean, all the time. And so I didn't like network marketing. And to me, he just had network marketer plastered across his forehead, not because of anything he did wrong. I just knew this was network marketing, and his persistence and everything else. I thought, he wants to fish in my pond, and there's no way. I'm not telling all my clients about their product, but I had no education, no experience with it. And really, it was all on me. My attitude was terrible. Yeah. So 7 months he chased me. And on December 4th, I answered the phone when he called, and he said, are you taking the Redox? I went, no, I'm not taking that stuff. I don't even know what it is. It tastes like a swimming pool. I'm not going to drink that. So he sent me the information that now I use at every workshop. And he was kind enough to not hang up on me because I was rude to him. And he encouraged me to just drink it. By then I had 7 cases because I hadn't turned off auto ship. So I said, okay, I don't believe you for a minute because this sounds too good to be true, but I'm desperate, and I knew I wasn't going to be there long if I didn't find something. So I'm going to drink it just to show you it won't work like everything else hadn't worked. Yep. Is that a really good goal or what? And so I began to drink. And I thought, if a little's good, more's better. He said it was 100% non-toxic. So I went, okay, I'll drink this stuff up and I'll show him it's not going to work, and then he'll leave me alone. Well, I got fooled. I fooled myself. I started drinking, and I drank a lot. I increased a lot. I drank more than the recommended amount. It's non-toxic, so I knew it couldn't hurt me. And I was up to 32 ounces a day, about 28 to 32. And 3 weeks in, I accidentally sat up till 11 o'clock at night after going to bed at 6 o'clock at night every night for 16 months. And I felt good. And my husband came in and said, do you know what time it is? I went, no. And when he told me, I literally went to bed praying, please, God, please don't tease me. Don't let me get my hopes up and then be disappointed again, because I couldn't handle it emotionally or mentally. But I promised, if you're using this to help my body heal, I'll tell everybody. I will tell everybody and give you all the credit, because this was an answered prayer for me. Yeah. And my health, I knew my health was coming back. And then 2 weeks later, the knee that would not heal from a surgery in August was all the swelling was gone, all of the discomfort was gone, all the stiffness was gone. And I went, oh my gosh, he was telling me the truth. This stuff really works. And it works in priority order because our bodies are biointelligent. So that's when I got excited about having it, sharing it, and turned my attitude around about network marketing. I also went to an event and saw Tyler Norton and went, oh, this is different. So lots crammed into that little period of time, but it definitely made me a different person. I was so thrilled to have something that worked. It actually works. So I began to tell everybody, and they'd use it and they'd get good results, and there we go.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing all of those details, especially just with where your mind was, your attitude was, with just, there's a lot packed into all of this because, why would some man that's been calling you on the phone for 7 months have the answer to something that you've been searching for 18 months and you've gone to the best of the best? Like, it's just, sometimes you don't expect to find answers in the way that they come to us. And I think it's divine appointments when we choose to be open to them. They're there all the time. So let's talk about this integration of using this with others and sharing it with other people, because a lot of the people that obviously are moms or wanting to become moms. So let's kind of dissect that. There's people that are, trying to get pregnant during pregnancy, obviously, and after. Talk to me about what you've seen with the Redox pre-pregnancy. Have you seen it impact the ability for couples to become pregnant that are struggling? Like, what have you seen?
Yes. Probably the first group that heard about my miracle was my pregnant girls, because they saw such a difference in me. They knew then that I was going to be alive, I was going to be around, and I was so excited. And so people would say, well, wow, I want to feel as good as you do. Do you think it would work for this or that or whatever they had? And I'd go, I don't know. They say it works on anything with cells, and it's 100% non-toxic and guaranteed for the first month. So try it. You don't have anything to lose. So that's the way people began to become part of my group, not because I wanted a network marketing team, but I just wanted to share what had worked. So with the pregnant girls, I thought, what else do I have on my shelf that's 100% non-toxic, will help their bodies correct anything that's not working properly and can do no harm? I don't have anything else. Even herbs and homeopathics and essential oils have a toxicity, or you can be allergic. You can't be allergic to something your body creates. So I went, I'm going to go out on a limb and introduce them to it. So I began to do that. And we had about 25% of the people on my books actually wanted to use it and try it. And they were getting great results. And then people began to come to me or I would hear about them, that were struggling to get pregnant. And I just tell them, let's do this. Let's try it. Can't hurt you, can only help. It might create, I'm sorry about Smokey Joe, might help open a pathway that is, that needs opening, so that your body will know what to do and how to conceive. And we got great results. I would put mama and daddy on it in case the problem was on his side, and tell them, give it 6 months. It's a 90-day protocol. But when you're trying to get pregnant, people try too hard, and that creates stress. And then the stress keeps them from conceiving. So I would tell them, just try to forget about it, try to relax, take this for 6 months, go on a vacation if you can, and just enjoy being married, and don't make everything, an effort to get pregnant. So we had great success with that. And also with moms who couldn't carry babies. They get pregnant and have miscarriages. But all of the studies about the NRF2 pathways talk about infertility and, all of the things that have to do with conception and reproduction.
Yeah.
So
It's exciting
it
to
was
see.
very,
Yeah, well, and it's exciting to see, like, this is, case studies. Obviously, you said 20%, 25% of the people you've worked with. And then you have ASEA, who is doing research on this and looking at these genetic pathways, looking at, okay, what can we see in the lab? And it turns on EGR1, which is a gene that impacts infertility issues. And it's like, okay, so that's what the research is showing. You're saying you're seeing this, starts to make sense, right? The biology and what's happening on the cellular level starts to all kind of connect. But interestingly, and I think this is something I want to ask you about, because on the bottle, it says that this is like for pregnant women, pregnant or nursing women, whatever the language is, right? Consult your physician before using. So how come, if it's non-toxic, how come that label is on there?
well, I mean, actually, we know that it's just a liability issue, because if you're doing anything new and something goes wrong,
Yeah.
then the first thing they're going to blame is the new thing you're doing. So it's hard to get around that. What I did was tell my girls, this is what it says. I know this is what it says, but I am the healthcare provider, and I'm going to monitor you. I'm going to watch you very closely and see how you do. And we did, and it was always good. So that helped. But I kind of felt like I was going out on a limb, like I'm breaking the rules. I'm recommending this to people that it says not to recommend to, but I was the healthcare provider. So what I tell my girls now is take this to your physician, or your OB, your midwife, your whoever, and take someone along with you that can explain what it is, what it does, why it's safe. And it's your decision, it's your body. The girls that decided to take it, when I would educate them during childbirth class, would say, yes, I want this. Why wouldn't I want what's good for me, what will help me be the healthiest? Because they knew that would help their baby be the healthiest. So that's kind of the way we worked around it. But that has to be on the bottle for many, many, many. You look at almost any vitamin, any supplement, they'll say, don't take when you're pregnant. Well, when you're pregnant is when you need supplementation, So you have to do your own thinking. You have to be brave enough to make decisions and stick to them. But 100% non-toxic pretty much covers it all,
It certainly does. And I want to be clear, we're not giving medical advice here. Donnellyn is not your medical provider, but she's speaking from her experience with the people she worked with and monitored. And so I think your advice is fabulous. If you're in this position, bring it to your physician, bring it to your OBGYN, go and talk to them about what it is and how it might be able to benefit you. And let's talk now. So that's, during pregnancy, but you have helped give birth to over 1,000 babies. And I would love to know, what have you seen with Redox supporting on that end of things, from, recovery time, post-birth, things in the birthing process? Like, talk to me about what you've seen there.
I saw from the very beginning things like healthy placentas from everyone that had been on Redox. Well, the placenta is an amazing organ, the only one that we actually grow and are designed to be discarded. They have a specific use. But I would see such a difference in how healthy they were. I saw a difference in the birth process, how that went, how smoothly it went. I saw the difference in the integrity of skin, tissue, because birth is, that's a bit of a challenge. And on your tissue. And I saw such a huge difference in the how the body, well, let's just say I saw less complications, less challenges. So the body was working the way it was supposed to, and things didn't go the wrong direction nearly as often. And the girls that were taking Redox, I mean, almost none had any kind of challenges. It was so fascinating. The other midwife that worked with me for 8 years at my birth center, we just look at each other and go, wow, another Redox baby. We were just amazed at how good. And then their postpartum would be so good. This is a hormone modulator. It says so on the bottle. So hormones are what go nuts when you're crazy. I mean, when you're crazy, when you're pregnant and when you're during postpartum, it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So you feel crazy, but it all levels out finally. I had postpartum depression myself obviously years and years ago. So I know how it feels. You don't feel like you're in control.
Right.
But to be able to avoid that altogether, I mean, I can't claim to cure, heal, prevent any kind of disease, but I saw in my practice for myself that the ladies that were on this didn't have some of the issues that are quite common in pregnancy. Yeah. So if I had my way about it, I would require every pregnant woman to drink Redox. She'd have a better pregnancy, an easier birth, an easier recovery, and her midwife or doctor would love her and me. So
yeah. So talk to me just briefly about like how you're using it. So how much are they drinking? Are they using the gel also to support? Like what ways are you using the Redox?
In the beginning, a lot of women have levels in their blood that come with pregnancy that cause them to be very nauseous. We saw a difference from the very beginning. If they couldn't drink it, they would swish it and use the gel on their carotid arteries, and they got improvement in that area. But I usually, if they are a healthy, which most of my clients were, because I do out of hospital, they have to have normal labs. They have to be normal for me to take them, not high risk. So if they were healthy young women that did the right things, eat and exercise and so forth, I'd have them take 2 ounces twice a day. If they came up on any kind of complication, or if they came into the situation with a complication, like some kind of gut issue or something that I already had them on Redox for. And I had a few that were repeat clients that were already on it because I found it. They called me, oh my, whatever is flaring up. And I'd say, try this, and they get better. Well, those I put on 8 ounces because now their body is trying to correct the issue and grow a baby. Growing a baby that's taxing on your system. It's natural, and it's beautiful, and it's wonderful, but it takes a toll, It's not just all easy things change. So
of course.
And now we just kind of monitor like we do with everybody. Whatever the situation is, we take a little more. Can't hurt them.
Yeah. So talk to me about now breastfeeding, working with the moms and babies, in this situation. Is this safe? Are there ways that you would recommend? Like, first of all, is it okay to use while doing that? And then anything with the gel or things that you've seen support with there?
Absolutely. Yes. There are very few issues that would not be affected by Redox, with Redox for breastfeeding. Occasionally there's an actual physical challenge that makes it hard for mamas to breastfeed. But for the most part, if they're drinking the Redox, their hormones are level. That takes care of the oxidative stress, which is one of the reasons moms have trouble. And if they're doing the right things with relaxation and sitting down and, enjoying that time, we had great results with breastfeeding. And the gel is magic after girls have delivered. Number one, they may have had some tissue integrity challenges, lacerations, whatever. They had less if they were on Redox, but if they did, the gel will help them heal 5 times faster. Who wouldn't want that? Especially in the area that we're talking about. It's sensitive. So they'd use the gel for that. That was fabulous. And then a lot of moms get sore nipples because their breasts are not used to that kind of workout. you know, it's new, it's different. But the gel is 100% non-toxic, so they could put it on their breast after feeding the baby or as many times as they wanted to, and they didn't have to worry about washing it off. I used to use, you're gonna laugh, I used bag balm for my girls. It's not natural, it's actually for cows' udders, but it worked fast and helped the moms not be in pain for long, but they had to wash that off. Now we have something that they didn't have to wash off. And then the other issue that happens with breastfeeding is they get mastitis, or they might just get, you know, a lump in their breast from a clogged duct, and they can put the gel on that with a heat compress after or before, and it goes away. They don't have to get all the way to sick with mastitis. You know, that causes fever and feel like you've got the flu. And so I could tell them to use the gel and do the other right things like rest. It's usually because they're not resting enough. And so I could instruct them on the right things to do and have them use the gel, and they could get over it without a doctor appointment, which is good.
Yeah, ideal. Yeah. So, it just adds
more. And then
baby's
baby's bottoms, you know, if baby gets diaper rash or a little bit chapped, if baby happens to be one that you wanted to have circumcised, that the gel works so great to help with that healing. And a lot of moms these days have to have lip and tongue lacerations to help the baby get a good latch. And then they have to stretch the tissue on the frenulum in the tongue. And that's, it hurts. So they could put a little gel on their thumb and use that. And babies still don't like to have your hand in their mouth and messing with them, but it's a different cry. It's a mad cry instead of you're hurting me cry, you know? So, so many uses on their gums when they're teething. I mean, so many ways. If they've got colic, you can rub it on their little belly and they just relax, calm down instead of being all drawn up like, ouch, I'm hurting. So if they don't sleep well at night, you can put it on the bottom of their feet and they just sleep like a baby is supposed to.
Amazing. I mean, a lot of moms, like I hear them say all the time, the Renew 28, the Redox gel, feels like first aid in a tube. And it's amazing, right? Like, especially then when they become little toddlers and they're bouncing around and you've got bites and burns and, you know, all the things. It's a powerful thing to get to use.
Yes, it's wonderful. And the first aid aspect, you know, every school kid should have it in their backpack, because it does take care of the scratches and bruises and bumps and cuts and bites. And the fact that it's antibacterial and antifungal, if they're on the football field or playground and hurt themselves, you know, they may not be able to wash and clean it up and sterilize right then, but they can put gel on right then. Absolutely. And I mean, things just get well so fast. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Well, this has been insightful. I certainly have found benefit from this. Thank you so much for your wisdom, for getting the word out there. I think we have to thank Jim for his persistence with getting the message to you.
I've asked him for forgiveness many times for how I treated him.
I love it. And I'm glad. Was it Smokey Joe? Is that what you say? Is that your dog's name?
Yes. Smokey Joe is just, he's a big baby, and I was gone for a week helping my grandson, and I'm trying to get him to go out now, but he won't leave me. And so he's so clingy right now that I can't seem to do anything without him. It's terrible how we spoil our animals when we no longer have children.
It's true. I know. Well, thank you so much, Donnellyn. I appreciate you. I've got so much love for you. And guys, if you're listening and you have questions about this, please just put something in the comments. You'll see in the description my WhatsApp number. Happy to get any information to you. If you've made it this far, I'd say this is very likely something that's resonating with you. Happy to do a consult with you. Just reach out, and we hope to see you on the other side. Thank you so much, Donnellyn. Anything else?
Yes, one more thing. If any of you have had a baby and used Redox, I would really appreciate you getting in with Danielle and letting her and I coordinate together. I want your records, not your name, not your address, not your social security number. I just want your records with all your very personal information blotted out. I'd like to have your birthday, how many babies you've had, but all of the records, because we're about to do more research this upcoming year. So I'm going to create a platform for that. But since I get to talk to the people who are working with Danielle, please reach out to her if you're willing to be part of our statistics, because they're valuable. We can help so many people if we have some facts to work with and prove what we know.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I didn't realize. So please, yes, reach out to me, put it in the comments. I'll get you connected with Donnellyn, and we'll get your information there so that more moms can be aware, more families can make informed decisions. All right. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Donnellyn.
Thank you, Danielle.